What do you do when you get hit with something in life where it just feels like that the only response is one of panic and anxiety? You know, it's one of those really potentially difficult things, or maybe not so difficult, just irritating and frustrating. And there's a part of you that just you can just feel wanting to get ramped up and get sucked into that rabbit hole of, oh my God, this is awful. And it just feels like that there is no other response. Well, my name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. And in this live, I want to help you understand that you've got a choice. You have a different way of being. When things happen in your life, happen in the world, there's a lot of that going on right now, that may not necessarily be to your preference, and that may be putting it very mildly. If this is resonating with you, drop some comments in the comment section. Please share this with other people that you think would benefit with knowing an alternative way of being than anxiety or panic when in the face of something really, really difficult and challenging. And if this serves you, then join me November 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's a Wednesday morning for my members only Facebook group. Where we dig deep into this kind of topic in order to keep you moving and creating a life that you love, because that's what you are up to. All right, so situation, something happens. You get hit with something that causes anxiety, that causes frustration, that causes you to just maybe want to curl up into bed and pull the covers over your head. And your brain, it's like the only place that your brain can go is, oh my gosh, this is just horrible. Whether it's a diagnosis, whether it's a job loss, whether it's a breach in relationship, whether somebody was disloyal to you, you know, that there's something, somebody betrayed you. You know, I had a situation a couple weeks ago where, hey, Christy, good to see you. Congratulations on your book, Christy. I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where, you know, something happened physically and went in to see the doctor, and she immediately wanted to do a biopsy. I mean, it was like there was no other conversation. It was like she immediately wanted to go in and do a biopsy. And I could feel that part of me wanting to like flip into panic of, oh my gosh, you know, she thinks it's cancer. Like there was no other conversation about any other possibility that it could be. She went straight to cancer and only discussed the possibility of cancer. I am so grateful for what I'm getting ready to share with you now, which I was taught by my mentor, and Christy, your mentor, you're going to recognize this, that I was really able to apply it in the moment and maintain it going forward. And it's called push your internal pause button. Now, first of all, in order to be able to do that, there's a couple things you have to understand. Number one, that facts are neutral. Whatever's going on in your world right now, the facts are just neutral. They just are. The thing that makes them difficult is how we interact with those facts. It's what we tell ourselves about those facts. When we make facts big and scary, then the only thing we can do is have an experience of it being bigger than us and scary, and it freezes us. But when you understand that there truly is a power bigger than anything that you've ever known for yourself, moving through you, bigger than any outside fact or condition, and that you actually have the power to change your perception or change the way you see things, when you find yourself in that kind of take your breath away moment, if you, as you do this work, as you do the spiritual practice of remembering in that moment, it's like, okay, I can pause. I can literally push my internal pause button. And here's the rest of it. Give it an amount of time. So I was in there, and she immediately, just like immediately went to do a biopsy, and the results were going to be possibly a week later. And so I caused myself. So the way that I push my internal pause button, right, that part of me that said, whoa, wait a minute, let's just stop and pause and let's decide how we're going to be with this. Couple things that I did to support myself in being able to do that. First of all, I literally breathed into the part of me that wanted to contract. There's a part of you that gets contracted in the face of some really difficult news. Understand that your body is physiologically responding to the apparent risk. It feels like something's threatened. And so in that moment, you want to literally breathe into that spot. You want to breathe life. You want to breathe expansiveness. You want to breathe love into that spot so you can bring your nervous system down. You can bring your nervous system back to status quo. Then, number 2, consciously choose to change your perception. Realize in that moment that I can consciously choose to change my perception right now. Number 3, change your perception by reminding yourself what you're grounded in. Now, this was all happening really quickly inside of me. Again, I'm just grateful for the years of spiritual study that I have done with the amazing masters that I've been taught by, that I was literally able to do this while I was in her office. So remind yourself, what is it that I'm grounded in? What do I know for sure? And I was able to ground in that moment, remembering and knowing for sure how loved I was, how divinely appointed I was, that the universe was conspiring for my good. It's all good. I was able to remind myself that it's all for me. Everything is for me. Because of that, I was really able to be present with what was going on, was able to ask some questions, but stay very centered and very calm. Then, number 4 is that you want to list every good thing that could potentially come from this. So you push the internal pause button and you decide, let me back up, you decide on an amount of time that you're going to push the pause button. And for me, it was about a week. It's like, okay, 5 days. 5 days, I'm going to push the pause button and I'm going to choose to stay present in what I know to be good. And then if the results come back in a way that I don't necessarily want them to come back, then I can decide what I want to do. But for 5 to 6 days, however long it takes to get the results back, I am consciously choosing to stay centered in what I know to be true, that I am just ridiculously loved. Then, and I forget what step I'm on, but I think it's 4. Then you want to list out every good thing that could come from this situation. And for me, I found myself really asking, if this was a, quote, life-threatening diagnosis, what would I do different? And what if I started doing that now without a diagnosis? It really invited me to pause and reconsider once again what was most important and what was it that I really wanted to do with my time. What did I want to dedicate my time and my energy to? And the gift was that I was able to do it from a place of presence rather than a place of panic. Because again, I was solidly grounded in what I knew to be true, and I had made the decision. I'm putting that worry on hold, and I can bring it back later if I want it. But for right now, I'm putting it on hold. Then you want to get busy, and you want to take the actions that you can take. So list everything good that potentially could come from it, and then list all of the actions that are presenting to you and take those actions. So for me, it was another reevaluation of, how was I treating my body? What was my body asking for in terms of self-care? I called my naturopath and said, hey, is there something we need to do to adjust for this? And again, taking the action from a place of presence rather than panic. It's a completely different dynamic. You will think completely differently. You will generate completely different ideas. And you will take those actions completely different. And you create a different experience while in the middle of it, while then creating the space for something remarkable to come from it. And as a result, I knew this. The biopsy came back, what's the word? It was okay. There was nothing amiss that would suggest cancer. And here's the gift. In the meantime, I didn't suffer. I really did not suffer doing it. And it allowed me to get richer, benign. Thank you, Chris. There wasn't even anything for it to be benign. That it just wasn't. It was just non-existent. So I was able to be so much more present in my relationships. I was able to make such more deeper connections. You know, everything just became richer as a result of it. And it is now guiding me even more as I go forward. So I encourage you to work with this. Again, this was a gift given to me by my mentor. It's push your internal pause button. Work with this when you find yourself in a situation where you've got a piece of news, things aren't going the way that you want them to, and you find yourself wanting to slip into that place of panic, upset, anxiety, fear. Make a decision in that moment. I'm going to push my internal pause button. I realize in this moment that I have the ability to choose how I'm going to be with this. Breathe into that spot that you can feel contracted. Determine what you're standing on, the truth that you're standing on. Make a list of all the good that can come from it. Look to see the actions you can take and get busy taking those actions, and stay present for the richness of the experience right where you are, and then celebrate on the other end of it. Celebrate where it took you. All right, so again, join me in the members only Facebook group Mastermind. Ultimate Life Now is the name of my Facebook group. I put the link up in the description. Please join me November 11th. It's a Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, for a members-only mastermind where we're going to dig deep into the code. Susan, I would love for you to come to the members-only mastermind November 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to dig deep into the code of how to achieve and move your dream forward no matter what's going on in your outside world. Drop comments about how this has served you. And again, please share this with anybody who finds themselves getting sucked into a rabbit hole of anxiety when things aren't going the way that they want them to go. Yes, digging deep. All right, my name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Your dream is my passion. Mwah! See you on the 11th. God bless.